Well, they tend to say dreams will be dreams, and no, yeah, that's still pretty much the truth. This ain't a fairy tale. We're all gonna die someday. Okay, with that horrible intro out of the way, let's get to some good news. Okay, I entered a giveaway in the Shenzhen Audio Discord server, and won an IM. So today we'll be looking at the Tanchijim Ola, featuring their own anime packaging to compete with the likes of Moondrop. I'm quite happy with this win, and then I realized that the Tanchijim plushie doll that they're giving away is an even higher value than the Ola. Okay, just a disclaimer though. Although I have won this Ola from the giveaway of Shenzhen Audio's Discord server, all of what I say in this review are my honest thoughts of my own. Shenzhen Audio had no creative or editorial input, as well as any early previews to this review. But hey, no more dilly-dallying, let's get into this review of the Tanchijim Ola. So, you've got the usual cardboard box, but following Moondrop's example, Tanchijim has also included an anime waifu on the cover. This one of Asano Tanch? Is it pronounced Tanch or Tank? I'm just gonna call her Tank. It even says right here, right? She contributed to the tuning of the Ola. So wow, not only is she a cute waifu, she's also an acoustic engineer. She looks very nice, packing a casual dress, silver hair, a very cute hairpin, and of course, how could we forget, she's shilling the Ola, wearing it on her ears. I'd say she's maybe on par with the SSP waifu here, and it's basically up to your taste as to who edges out. And then in the back, we get the frequency response as well as some of the specs. I also have someone's signature. Could be Tanchijim's CEO, I don't know, but I think this is a giveaway prize specialty. Sliding out the sleeve, we get a gray box with the more conventional Tanchijim logo before they went for weeb, you know. The cool thing about this box is, if you look at it, you can see this embossed, glossy, and geometric pattern. That gives it, you know, sort of an extra sense of complexity. And I love this. You can actually feel the pattern on your fingers. And it shows you that they really took care to make a good and unique unboxing experience. Opening that up, we will see this envelope, which if you take it out and you open it up, it will reveal the accessories, which we will get to later. Below that envelope sits the Tanchijim Ola in a clean foam insert. They even have a pull-up tab for you. Very classy. And at the bottom of the box, you will be seeing the Tanchijim Ola's cable neatly wrapped with, if you can see here, a piece of Tanchijim branded tape. I wonder if they sell this tape as merchandise. That's actually pretty cool. As always, you'll be getting this Tanchijim carrying pouch, and it's a pretty good pouch. It's got a fluffy material, sort of a lighter shade of gray that looks very premium. It feels good, although the inside is a bit more rough feeling. It sort of just sits in between the Moondrop pouch and the Faio pouch in terms of goodness, you know, because with the Moondrop pouch, you know, the Tanchijim has a better feeling texture than a Moondrop pouch, but it's not as puffy and fluffy as the Faio pouch. And then we have two types of ear tips. One is a more standard whiteboard type with a transparent silicone stock, and the other is a more conventional narrowboard design. Truth be told, these don't work that well with the Ola, but as always, it's always good to have more tips in your tip library. These both come in small, medium, and large sizes on these plastic inserts, which are actually much appreciated. You can see they mark it bass enhancing and treble enhancing. I like this, it shows that they put a little bit extra effort instead of just putting it into a Ziploc bag. And then finally, you're gonna have the documentation. You get a quick start guide with some illustrations, and then you have a full, thick instruction manual. Ooh, this is long. Yeah, all of that. And it is both of these are presented in English, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean, so we're covering all of our bases here. Then you have the warranty card as always, and something actually quite neat in here, which is the certification. Never seen this before, but it's cool. I like it. Here's the Tanchijim Ola's cable, and my oh my, it's a lovely thing. It's basically the cable of the SSR and SSP, but upgraded in most fronts. It's thin and light, and the glittery wires, as you can see, reflect light nicely, as well as being coated with this very supple and smooth feeling silicone sleeve. It makes the SSP's already good cable feel rubbery in comparison. The cable itself doesn't tangle much, and though its microphonics isn't stellar, it's not the worst either. The jack has as you can see, the Tanchijim text printed on, and it's a little metal tube ordeal. So are the male 2-pin connectors with red and blue dots on the overmold plastic bit, using for left-right indicators, which look premium all around. I would like to note that, as you can see, the 2 prongs on the 2-pin of the Tanchijim cables are very, very long, even longer than Moondrop's, if you can see it. So there might be some compatibility issues when using other cables on the Tanchijim Ola, so take note of that. You of course also get the 1-button mic clump for music control, with mic samples that I'll provide later. My 2 gripes with this cable is that, these gripes are pretty small, but it's worth mentioning that they don't have a Velcro cable wrap, since you just get this piece of Tanchijim tape. And if you can see it, let me see, there's no chin slider on this cable, at least on the mic'd version, which I would have wanted, because wearing the Ola without this can feel a little loose. But these are otherwise minor omissions in an already pretty great package. And here are the Tanchijim Olas themselves, and boy is it a beaut. It's this 2-piece assembly of metal and transparent plastic that is a lot smaller when you get to see it in real life, especially compared to something like a CCA CRA. But it's really eye-catching, as well as having a very photogenic housing that looks nice in most angles you shoot footage with it at. Though when you actually start touching it, you kind of feel that the metal bit is quite light and plasticky, so I'm not sure if this is actual metal or not. Don't know. And despite the very nice shape, the Ola has one very odd and perhaps even crippling feature, and it's this nozzle. It's already decently large in the diameter, but the worst part is this nozzle lip. It's too big and thick, but it won't play well with your ears, especially on my left ear, where I can't for the life of me get it to seal with any kind of ear tips. Even though, the water resistant filter that Tanchijim installed on these nozzles are very cool, I don't know if it's worth the comfort issues with this thick nozzle, at least the nozzle lip. The big nozzle also means that once you're able to slip on an ear tip onto the Ola, it will be incredibly hard to pull it back out. But at the very least, when you do get it to seal and wear it, the Ola is a very discreet and light IM that will mostly disappear into your ears after some time of use, and its dashing looks does give it a quite fashion-forward air as well. The microphone on the Tanchijim Ola is actually a bit better than usual.
It records your voice somewhat better than the KZ and CCA stuff, and whilst my voice is still kinda muffled, it's a bit less than usual. So kudos to Tanchijim for including what seems to be a half-decent mic on the Ola.
For source matching, I find that both the LG V50 and the DX150 provides a satisfactory experience when paired with the Tanchijim Ola, so you'll probably be happy with both a warmer or a brighter source. As for tip rolling, going through all of my tips, like from the wide bore to the narrow bore, from the soft to the hard, to like foamies, to like my ultimate comfort fallback, the SpinFit CP145, it yielded no results. Because my left ear, it just couldn't seal due to the gigantic nozzle. In the end, an unlikely ally turned up in the generic smoky gray Moondrop ear tips. You know, this thing. You know, the thing that we always sort of meme on because it's not that great. But it works on the Ola. Like, these slip onto the nozzle decently enough, and they actually maintain the seal on my left ear, thankfully. Another honorable mention would be the Moondrop S8 or the Blessing 2 ear tips with their like extra big stems. Yes, the Ola's nozzle has a big enough lip that it even takes those big ear tips. It's that bad. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's get into the sound of the Tanchijim Ola. The Tanchijim Ola has a neutral bright signature with a very reserved low end, a clean and competent present mid-range with decent clarity and little peaks. Overall, a very decent tuning from Tanchijim. So starting with the bass, the lower registers of the Ola are very held back. So much so that on the first listen, you might think the Ola has no bass even. But in truth, it is there. And what's there is quite decent, even if very shy. The bass of the Ola has a soft texture, and what it lacks in slam and impact, it makes up for being able to go sufficiently deep, with a standard amount of decay to give music that much needed depth. There's not much in the way of sub bass, but the mid bass is quite clean and unobtrusive to the mid range. But it is true that in a lot of songs I do crave for just a bit more bass quantity in this presentation, which even with some EQ, this driver just isn't up to par for delivering. The beginnings of bass definition is present, though often overshadowed by how bass shy the Ola can be. This is a nice bass presentation for lighter genres, but for heavier stuff like EDM, I recommend you look elsewhere. The mid-range of the Tanchijim Ola is quite competently done, presenting elements of music with relative balance with a somewhat bright tonality. It is a bit boring at times how everything kind of has an equal footing in the mids, but it makes for a decently revealing performance that doesn't neglect any particular instruments. The valley between 2 kHz and roughly 6 kHz in the FR also spares the Ola from being shouty and honky, at the acceptable cost of losing some of the breathiness that adds to the personality of some vocalists. There is not much to complain about the Ola's mid-range. Perhaps its ever so slightly lighter timbre, so kind of lifting some vocals up a little bit too much. But otherwise, it is without the weird graininess and artifacts of lesser drivers, and a decent separation ability in the price range, keeping some of the finer details of mid-range information, and portrays it without sort of forcing itself to do so. The treble of the Ola is also quite elegant, working within its limits whilst not falling into the traps of indiscriminate boosting, thus avoiding the phenomena of sibilance and harshness. Where cymbals are present in the mix, the Ola gives it the extra zing it needs without going overboard. There's little to no graininess in the treble regions,
and no offensive resonance peaks are to be found. The Tanchijim Ola has done a good job of portraying clarity even with the budget hardware. But its technicalities can be improved as much of the high-end information is not as present or well portrayed, even if done in a satisfying manner thanks to the tasteful tuning. The soundstage of the Ola is unimpressive, but adequate. It's a little bit more out of your head, but not much more. The beginnings of soundstage height are present, but limited in most compositions, save for the most clean ones which are able to make use of it. The technicalities of the Ola are sort of the standard which I expect an IM from this price range to be able to perform. It is able to separate most musical elements with little trouble, save for the most complex of songs. There is still a preference of prioritizing macro details over the micro details, but some of the minutiae of songs are being picked up and presented, netting the Ola a better than average resolution and detail retrieval. The driver being used also presents a very clean sound, with little in the way of distortion and artifacting, though it is maybe not the best in terms of responding to EQ. Thus, its technical ability is able to punch up to maybe the $50, if it's a stretch then maybe it's $60 range, despite the fact that it's got a $40 price tag. But any more than that and Viola will face much tougher competition. So between the Moondrop SSR and SSP couple versus the Tanchijim Ola, for the build, I'd still give the win to the Tanchijim Ola, thanks to its more premium unboxing experience, the better cable, and even aesthetics compared to the Moondrop SSR and SSP. Though I must say, the SSP gave me less of a hard time in terms of tip rolling than the Ola. In terms of sound quality, pretty much the Ola is just a better SSR/SSP in most, if not all, regards. Its bass is handled more gracefully than the SSR's bass lightness and the SSP's overboosting, which stressed its small driver, causing heavy distortion. The mid-range of the Ola is also quite clean and well done, with less shout than the SSP. Though I must give the SSP some recognition for its more expressive vocal preference than the Ola's more neutral mid-range. The technicalities of the Ola I would still regard to be a slight upgrade to the SSP. With better separation and resolution, it is also able to play louder with less distortion than the SSP as well. To be fair, the Ola came out later than the SSR/SSP, and it was able to learn from its previous competitors' weaknesses. But now that both are out and both are roughly the same price, I see the Ola as basically a better SSR/SSP, and it's the clear winner in this comparison. Between the Tanchijim Ola and the Tanchijim Tanya, for the build, I would give the Ola a slight edge due to its better cable and materials, but both these Tanchijims do a good job for their packaging and accessories. In the sound department is where the differences appear. The Tanya goes into a much warmer and more fun tuning direction than the Ola's relative neutralness. However, the Tanya loses due to going overboard with a flabby yet overbearing bass, this warm but very clipped and low quality mids, and almost non-existent highs, as opposed to the Ola's relative elegance in its mids and highs, even if the bass leaves me a bit wanting. The Tanya seems to have been Tanchijim's answer to the Moondrop Quarks and the original Moondrop spaceship, but it failed spectacularly. It took them a while, but with the Ola, Tanchijim has redeemed itself, bolstering its reputation as the often perhaps later released and more expensive, but the higher quality cousin to Moondrop. So to conclude, Tanchijim has successfully created a better version of the Moondrop SSR or SSP at the same price point. boasting a better unboxing experience and superior sound quality. It does make some mistakes along the way, such as the big nozzle lip that affects the wearing comfort, and the omission of the cable wrap, which would have been nice to have. But ultimately, it comes out as the better IEM in comparison to its other rival, using also anime waifus as marketing. With Moondrop responding by releasing the Chew in a battle to the bottom in terms of price and a battle to the top with sound quality, I look forward to seeing what Tanchijim is able to cook up in response. And with that, we've reached the end of yet another review. As always, I'll leave links to the music I use in the description, also links to my website and my Patreon, where you can, of course, donate to me so that I can get the fees to actually buy stuff and get it in for review. Shoutouts to 78 Dragon, my Tier 2 patron, as always. Of course, Tier 2 patrons get access to my video scripts, and Tier 1 patrons can also get some extra photos and B-roll if any is available. If nothing else, then yeah, like the video if you like it, comment if you have any suggestions, any questions, any inquiries. Please do participate. Subscribe to my channel, of course, if you want to see more of this content as well as my gaming content. And if you do subscribe to my channel, please hit the bell button so that my videos actually arrive to your feed. And if nothing else, then yeah, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. This is Lumerion, signing off.